Full disclosure here, I actually thought this was the live album of Second Home. Just kind of starts off the same way, and there's a lot of music that I needed to cover within the summer period. So when I heard the first couple of notes and heard that kind of live audience, I thought, oh, this is the live album. I can kind of put this on the shelf until, you know, the actual album is released. Then I can listen to it. So, yeah. My bad, but I have finally gotten into this album, so better late than never, right? Lies and Butterflies by Mystery. So, Mystery is a neo-progressive rock band from Montreal, Canada. These guys came out of the Neo-Prog movement of the 80s, and really it wasn't until like 2010 when they started to pop up on my radar. The first album of One Among the Living, it was on my periphery. I didn't actually listen to it. It wasn't actually until their 2012 album of The World Is a Game that I really dove in and loved this album. Ushered in everything that I loved about Neo-Prog when, at the time, Neo-Prog was becoming more and more heavy, and I applaud it. I love the fact that the genre overall decided to evolve and take the next step, but every once in a while I want that classic Neo-Prog. Like, I want that theatrical jester of the stage just lamenting by himself on the stage, and I felt like Mystery was one of the few bands that kind of kept this going on. Now, I will admit, the follow-up from The World Is a Game, which is Delusion Reign, just didn't quite do it for me. Now, I know that the centerpiece of the band is the lead guitarist and songwriter of Michel St. Pierre, and so because of that, a lot of personalities and a lot of talent was kind of coming and going. So the lead singer of Benoit David left the band after The World Is a Game, and he was replaced with Jean Pegu? Jean? He's Jean. Yeah, it was replaced by Jean. And this is carried over as well here. In fact, most of Mystery that we've found has been replaced at this point, with only Michel St. Pierre being the only member that's still left on this band. Anthony McCoud, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is on the keyboards. Francois Fourier is on the bass. And finally, Jean-Sébastien Gauthier is on drums. So, I mean, the initial lineup of Mystery has pretty much been completely overhauled with what we have here on Lies and Butterflies. For the most part, it is seamless. Like, it's not like a completely different band entirely. You know, what we come to Mystery for is still found on there. You've got the melodies, you've got the symphonic, theatrical approach to writing music in the vein of a Neo-Prog. Now, coming into this album, it is a little bit of a mixed grab bag as well. Like, it is definitely a step above what we had from Delusion Reign. The opening track of Looking for Someone Else is the longest track, being at over 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes, and this is definitely that mystery epic. And with a mystery epic, we don't have like that big blow down the doors and game-changing kind of an epic. It is just like a Neo-Prog-esque type of epic. And play-out guitar work on this album justifies the length of the track, because that is some tasty guitar licks that's provided by Michel St. Pierre. It is followed up with the two weakest tracks on this album. Come to Me and How Do You Feel are two of the shortest tracks on this album. After such a big track of Looking for Someone Else, it was actually quite smart of them to put these two, not lesser songs, but the low point of the album after that, so that you kind of are able to enjoy the songs that move forward from there. Come to Me is just like a radio-friendly, rocky kind of a track. I don't connect with it at all. How Do You Make Me Feel provides that little bit of a stepping stone into something to believe in, and I keep kind of wavering back and forth as to what song I actually like the most, if it's going to be Something to Believe in or Dare to Dream. And then this, of course, goes right into Where Dreams Come Alive, so you've got that Something to Believe, Dare to Dream, and then Where Dreams Come Alive. And these three songs kind of play into one another to the point where Dare to Dream and Where Dreams Come Alive, they basically are seamless. Like, they are one track that's just kind of divided right in the middle. But I do like the fact that, you know, you've got that idea of, okay, I've got something to believe in, I'm going to dare to dream that it's going to come true, and then the final track is Where Dreams Come Alive. And I like that. I really enjoy that narrative flow in that sense. And the music that is brought within there is also just stellar. And again, this is why I come to Neo-Prog. It's very theatrical, it's very melodramatic. The only problem that I have with Something to Believe in is it feels a little bit too much like one of the last songs from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so whenever I hear this, it just feels exactly like Frankie that's, you know, kind of singing away as he's leaving the stage. And, you know, I always kind of want to, like, whenever I'm thinking about that, my mind goes straight to, you know, Frankie doing this. And so yeah, these 3 tracks really do a great job of just opening up and soaring in terms of a great neo-prog. And that's like a good, what, like 20 minutes of like good solid music. And I need to call out, I would be remiss if I didn't call the boy out, Jean-Sebastian on drums on Something to Believe In. That drum fill, once we get into the play out and the guitar work on there, boy, calling you out, because that is some tasty jams that you're hitting away on, man. Like, you blew me away. I'm giving you full-on props for that. Good job. And then finally, the album does end with Crystallize, and Crystallize, it just, with neo-prog, you're always straddling that line between cheesy, melodramatic, and being serious. You know, you're straddling that line so close that every once in a while you're going to tip. And when you tip, oh boy, it is not pretty when they tip. And Crystallize, I feel, is when they tip into being a little... That's when they tip from melodramatic and being more theatrical straight into the cheese. I feel like this song is a little bit too long. I feel like they probably could have nixed this song entirely, and I know Mystery fans are going to be like, but I'm like, no, if you nix it, you bring the track length back down to like a good solid 40 minutes, and I feel like that is just the perfect run length of this, because once we get into Crystallize, my mind starts to wander, I start to tap out, and I just don't connect with it. It reminds me too much of Come to Me and How Do You Feel. It doesn't really satisfy, and I feel like they don't really justify the runtime as they did with Looking for Someone Else, and I think that's the biggest drawback for me. So overall, this album was a really good treat, and one that I've really been diving into. I think that there are more hits than misses on this album, but when it misses, it does miss a little bit too much. This is definitely an improvement from Delusion Reign, but I don't think they really hit that same peak that they did within The World Is a Game. But it's still a great time, and one that I would highly recommend if you're into this type of music, if you're into that neo-prog style of progressive rock. For me, though, I would have to say I would download this album. It's one that I would want to have onto my computer, but not one that I would really want to like invest too much time into. It is one that will kind of help me through this a little bit of a dip in neo-prog until the next big outfit comes out. So that's about it for Lies and Butterflies from Mystery. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know of your own thoughts about this album by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.